Welcome, book nerds, to the Marriage Stories podcast. I'm Bradley.
And I'm Bekah.
And if you're here looking for marriage advice,
all we got is couples that read together, breed together.
welcome everyone to the Marriage Stories podcast.
Why would you say that again?
Well, because I don't know. Hi, everyone. We're figuring this out as we go.
No.
This is gold. This is gold. Come on.
Today we're going to talk about the podcast in general. What are we doing here? Why are we doing it? Who even the heck are we?
I'm still asking that last one.
Well, that's a very existential question.
We're not going to get that deep. Sorry, everyone.
Don't you worry. You may think from our name, The Marriage Stories, that we're like a marriage podcast, but we are married, but that's not quite what we're talking about. We're talking about bookish things.
Books and book-related media. We'll cover everything from what we're currently reading to adaptations that we've watched.
What's hot and what's not, book news, upcoming books, most anticipated books, best books of the year, lots of lists. We book people love lists.
Yeah, basically this is just something we wanted to put together for ourselves because as a couple, each working basically 2 different jobs and raising 2 kids under 3, we needed some time to talk.
And what do we talk about best?
Books. So we figured we'd just record this comedy gold and share it with the masses.
So first of all, who are we? We're going to do the who, what, why, when, how of the Marriage Stories pod to bring you in on what we're thinking here. Who are we? Well, we're Bradley and Bekah. We've been together for almost 10 years. We've been married for almost...
Yeah, it's going to be 4 years.
4 years, yeah.
Wow.
It feels like longer because our love is so strong.
Oh, I thought because you're getting tired of me.
Well,
wow.
You guys decide.
Wow.
But if our love story was spoken in romance tropes, so in book talk, we are childhood friends to lovers. We have known each other our entire lives.
Yeah, we first met in the bathroom of a church.
As babies.
Being
nursed.
Yeah.
And the rest is history. However, it was not an instant thing. It was definitely friends first, then to lovers, for sure. It took a while for it not to be taboo for us to be together. Also, nerdy male MC. I mean, I'm nerdy too, but...
You're speaking in all these romance book tropes. I
can't
level.
Then also, other romance trope we have is she fell first. I did. Our kids are loving to read too, and we love to read to our kids. We think it's important, so we'll also do some talking about the importance of reading to and with your kids and some of our favorite fun children's books, which can also be quite comedy gold when we talk about our favorite children's books, because we can
Our oldest has been getting into some books that are actually funny, and with kids' books I find that's a little hard sometimes, and I'm very much enjoying reading them to them.
I love an author who can write a book knowing that it's for kids, but is being read by adults.
Exactly.
Our podcast ideas, some more topics that we hope to maybe be able to talk about. We could possibly have a book club buddy read thing. Bradley was thinking about doing a comic club because he's that kind of nerd.
I'm all the nerds. What are you talking about?
Yeah, you're almost all the nerds. You're not like a video game nerd or a computer nerd. But other than that, you're pretty much all the nerds.
Thanks.
Mm-hmm. Oh, we also are going to do kind of topical things like in September, band book episodes and our favorite band books, Spooktober, holiday reads, different things like that, best and worst tropes, mood reading, why do book people like cats, and more.
So a lot of you may know us from Bookstagram. We're two accounts that are pretty active on there. I'm at Books, Boards, and Brews.
With underscores in between
Yes.
all of those. And I'm at the Book Annalid.
So we've been enjoying that for a while and just wanted a way we could express our thoughts a bit better than in writing. I'm not a good writer, so my reviews are my thoughts, but I'd rather talk them out and actually express what I think of them.
I mostly just post bookish content in general. I started Bookstagram first, and Bradley was skeptical, and I kept being like, you need Bookstagram, you love Bookstagram, and now I think he's more obsessed with it than me, which I knew would happen. But we really enjoy it as a fun outlet for nerd friends.
We enjoy a lot of bookish podcasts ourselves, like Reading Glasses and Overdue, and we just really we were inspired by those to make our own. So this is what we're delivering to you.
Speaking of reading glasses, when we're talking about reading tastes, they have a thing. You might hear us talk about our wheelhouses. That is inspired by Reading Glasses Pod, and we do not want to take credit for that. That is their thing. But it's become such an everyday part of our language, talking about tropes and genres and elements we like in our books. You'll probably hear us say occasionally like, oh yeah, that's in my wheelhouse, or I've learned that's in my wheelhouse. For example, some things that are in my wheelhouse you can see in a pin post on my Instagram. I love things that are based on a true story, have strong female scientist main characters. I love political commentary and intrigue. Hard sci-fi, coming of age, childhood friends to lovers. Wonder why. Nerdy male MC? What? Where does that come from? Family drama? Oh.
I don't know where that comes from.
We never have that. Meddling mamas? I have no experience with that. Memoirs, biodiversity. I'm a big animal nerd, as you might notice from my tag at the Book Annalid, if you know anything about zoology. It's just fancy for bookworm. Animal companions, flashbacks, relatable humor, anything with World War II. So those are an example of wheelhouses. What are some of yours, Bradley?
Mine would be more like pirate fantasy, satire, God Wars, just existential horror, dark academia, hard magic systems, grimdark fantasy, stuff like that. So I'm mostly a fantasy, sci-fi, and horror reader, and Bekah likes a lot, I'll just say more variety.
Honestly, I read anything from romance to thrillers, historical fiction to sci-fi. I'm definitely a mood reader, so...
Absolutely. We both are.
Yes, and I feel like you've recently discovered that about yourself.
Yeah, I kind of hate it, but...
No, it's
I enjoy
good.
it.
I think it's been freeing for you to not have to stick to a list and like dated TBR and be able to just read what you want to read.
I love my lists, though. I like to stick to a schedule.
I understand, but it's more enjoyable to read whatever you want to read whenever you want to read it, right?
I suppose.
Mm-hmm. Hello from our cats.
Yeah, if you've heard them in the background, I'm sorry.
Hey, we love our cats, as all people tend to. We have 4 cats. I think it's
we
one
have
too many.
5 too many.
No, it's 1 too many. Anybody want a cat?
Please take them. Please.
Just 1.
So, Bekah, what are you currently reading?
So, I am currently reading The Bodyguard by Catherine Center. It was a Book of the Month pick for me, and I saw it as a contender for the 2022 Book of the Year and just thought, it's not always often that a romance makes it that high on the list. I think Bookstagram and Book Talk have played a large part in normalizing and popularizing and destigmatizing romance, for
Definitely.
sure. And I'm totally here for that. I've always been a romance lover, and I love a good enemies to lovers, which this is shaping up to be, an enemies to lovers book between a woman who is a bodyguard. Yes, the woman is the bodyguard, and a famous man, And he did not know that his team hired her, and she is coming out of a sticky end of relationship. So tensions are high, threats are high, and we shall see where this goes.
All right. I generally like to read multiple books at one time, so I normally always have a prose novel, a graphic novel, and an audiobook going at all times. So my current audiobook is In the Name of Rome by Adrian Goldsworthy. It's a nonfiction.
Name of Rome.
That was beautiful.
It just really came to me.
I'm glad you shared. It's a nonfiction about the key generals throughout the Roman Empire. I'm not big of a nonfiction guy, but there's just something about ancient cultures and ancient history that I really enjoy. And so that's a pretty good read so far. I'm a little over halfway through that. And my prose novel is Silver in the Bone by Alexandra Bracken. It's a YA fantasy adventure. I actually got it as a galley, but didn't get it until after the book already came out. So, but I'm enjoying it so far. It just started. Hopefully I'll finish it up here before the end of the month. And then my graphic novel I'm reading is Hawkeye vs. Deadpool by Jerry Duggan. It was free on Comixology Unlimited for the month, and I thought, I'll give it a read. I'm about a quarter of the way through it so far, so I'm interested to see how it goes.
I mean, it's got Deadpool. So it's at least
I'm not the biggest Deadpool fan.
Okay, but all I've seen is the Deadpool movie, and I've seen it so many times. I've seen the second one twice, but the first one so many times. I love it. And so I just feel like I've never read a graphic novel of Deadpool, but if it's got that same candor, I'd love it.
So I like the movies for sure. Ryan Reynolds is great in them. But
that may have a large part to do with
it. But Jerry Duggan's voice for Deadpool, I'm not sure I always enjoy. I've read him in a couple other things writing as Deadpool, and it's hit or miss, so we'll just have to see.
I didn't know we were allowed to talk about multiple books.
Yeah.
So, audiobook sadly just got returned back. But it was The Book Eaters, and I really thought it was super creepy and was starting to get into it. But as we will probably talk about a lot, that frustrating sensation that all you audiobookers out there can understand and relate with when a bunch of books you wanted to read came all at once and you went ahead and borrowed them, and then time lapsed, and by the time you made it to the last one of those that all came at the same time, you had like 3 days left and not enough time.
Yeah, I mean, specifically with Libby. If you use Libby, you'll probably relate to that a lot. I've got 3 downloaded right now, and I'm just trying to get through them all before the time runs out. So, hopefully we will soon.
And The Book Eaters is by Sunidine. I didn't say the author name there.
Oh, yes. That one's definitely on my TBR as well. I've heard really good things about it. It was all over Instagram back last summer when it came out.
The preface of it is bizarre enough to give you a picture. It is that human society has evolved to the point where there are some, not really humans, but humanoids who have evolved to eat books and retain all the knowledge from said books as their sole source of sustenance and all the things that go along with that.
I mean, I really wouldn't be opposed to that if that were an option for me, because then I'm a very slow reader. So I feel like I'd be able to read a lot faster that way. But I also do like to keep my books all nice, so...
It takes away the sensation of reading, though. Like, in fact, they even talk in the book that they don't like reading. They don't read. They just eat the book and automatically...
You eat it.
Yeah, but would you still enjoy books as much if you weren't reading them? You just took a bite out of it and knew what it said?
I feel like I would, but also I'll never know. So.
See, I don't think I'd like that. I also don't have a desire to be like a speed reader or anything. Part of my love of reading for me is the relaxation element of it.
I understand that, but also I have a huge TBR, and I need to read all these books before I die. So, speed reading would be great.
Nah, just bury me with my TBR. I'll read it into the afterlife as well.
Well, thank you for joining us here on our the Marriage Stories podcast. This is our intro episode, so we'll be back hopefully next week on a little more concrete of a theme.
Give us feedback if you can. Let us know on our individual Instagrams or our at the Marriage Stories Pod Instagram message box. Let us know, hey, some topic ideas or
Ooh, yes.
what you want in a bookish pod. Would you like some quickie episodes with quick topics that are less than 10 minutes? Or do you prefer half-hour long episodes? Do you prefer interviews as a part of those? Sending in questions. We would love your feedback.
Yes.
After all, yes, it's for us to be able to talk, but it's for you as a listener.
Well, thanks for joining us this week. Hopefully we'll see you next week.